Talent, disappointment, ego, desperation. What sets you apart? Are you aware of what you can do to change the world? What would you do if you couldn't achieve the height of your personal powers? How would you feel with your position should you have the talent and know-how to win something like a Nobel Peace Prize, but end up a high school chemistry teacher, an honorable position, but not one of the fame and notoriety you thought you'd garner for yourself? The reason being, you made some settlements in contentment for some time. It's not wrong to be happy with a family. But the fact of the matter is, it's just not enough for some. It's not enough for some giant egos. That's understandable too. Honestly, I can relate. Life is beautiful, but life is suffering. I ask myself about my ego often. Personally, if I were to die where I am today, I would not nearly have achieved what I want. Not with my personal desires, not with my really big ego. I believe that's a part of why I watch Walter White. That's why I watched the masterpiece of a downward spiral, Breaking Bad. My current favorite show of all time. It's an informing look at the dark side of that part of the mind. One that helps inform and tethers me to going so deep to the other side. It helps keep me from detrimental obsession. I'd like to go into it more if you'd have me. I'd like to talk about Breaking Bad. By now, most probably know the premise. An overqualified high school chemistry teacher with a part-time car washing job, a pregnant wife, and a son with cerebral palsy finds out he has terminal lung cancer. After a chance encounter with a former student, he enters the lucrative but dangerous world of cooking crystal meth, where he uses his knowledge of chemistry to make the best product anyone has seen. The difficulty comes with trying to sell it. Dangerous relationships are made, people are killed, lives are changed. The plot and sequence of events are breathtaking to watch. But what I want to go into the most is the apparent descent of the main character, as well as his corrosive effect on the relationships he makes and has made. He says at the beginning that chemistry is the study of change. A perfect metaphor for the show. But first, please keep this question in mind and answer for yourself at the end. Is he really becoming worse? Or is this just who he's always been? As mentioned earlier, Walt's talent is his genius-level intellect and understanding of the world of chemistry. He has such a mastery of this, there's essentially always a tool in his hand. In his younger days, he was renowned, won awards, and was looking at so many paths in front of him towards greatness. He was one of two faces of a scientific research company that would one day be valued at $2.16 billion. He was older than 30 years old. He was on top of the world. He knew it. He held that confidence and arrogance about him. He radiates it in flashbacks. Fast forward decades down the line, his ego led him to sell his share early for $5,000. He's a chemistry teacher in Albuquerque to tons of students more interested in getting back home than his field of passions. He washes cars to make ends meet and gets degraded by people like his boss, students, and brother-in-law. He never reached his potential. He feels like a disappointment to himself. It's hard to watch. It worries me. I've been told I have talent. I haven't hit any major success yet. Could this happen to me? How would I feel? What would I do? Now he has a ticking clock. Lung cancer. Inoperable. On the track he's looking down, he feels like he would die of disappointment, not meeting his potential, not only making no difference in the world, but being a detriment financially to his family, burdening them with crippling debt. To him, something has to change. This is all on his 50th birthday. On a ride along with his brother-in-law, he sees Jesse, a burnout meth cook he used to teach back in the day. Escape arrest. Having recently seen just how much money someone like him can make, Walt approaches him later with a proposition. Walt offers his impeccable knowledge of chemistry to make top-of-the-line meth, and Jesse distributes. After their first cook, Jesse notes that Walt's product is so pure, it's art. It's the first stroke to Walt's ego, his eventual downfall, his first real win that we see. From here, the story takes off. Eventually, with his life in danger for the first time later on, it's him or the guy who would take his life. Walt attempts to kill his first source of opposition, and when it doesn't work from a more second-hand approach, he goes further down his dark path. He kills that man with his own hands. From here, he flexes his smarts to those he comes across. He creates a persona known as Heisenberg to instill fear and respect from those in the hell he decides to navigate through. He wanted to be a king before. He's now found a kingdom. His ego is receiving satisfaction, but will never be satisfied. Is this what awaits me should I receive the success I want? Am I in danger of becoming a dangerous, selfish person? Every time danger rears its head, Walt is there to cut it down. He's smart, too smart for his own good, teeming with hubris. Every opportunity to get out with more than enough money, Walt just has to push. He can't leave it all behind. He's the best. He's renowned. He feels like someone. It's this feeling of superiority that pulls him back, making a slave to its own mind and desires. He's an addict, just like those he makes his product for, and he won't let anyone stop him. Not even his love for his family. He'll lie, convince, and coerce all he needs to get what he wants. Is this what waits for me if I do become successful? Will I become obsessed with not losing what I have? Will I lose sight of who I was? Will I be a detriment to those I love? Do I run the risk of becoming a monster? Eventually, everything gets to be too much even for the great Walter White, and the evils he committed come back to haunt him. He can't get everything he wants anymore. He loses everything, forced into exile as a notorious monster to the world, almost a cancer to it. As mentioned before, he was a king of a dangerous kingdom, but he was Ozymandias. Much like the poem and the name of one of the last episodes, he was a king of decay and ruin. No love, no possessions, nowhere to belong. Reflecting, he even knows the perfect time he could have left it all behind and lived a peaceful life. But it's too late. Falling further and further into his selfishness, he ruined everything. I don't want that. I don't want to ruin those around me. It's too precious. I want to achieve my goals. I want to be great. I'll fight for it. But if I refuse to lose sight of the rest of the picture, then I refuse nothing. I refuse my inner Walter White to get out of hand. But I accept that part of myself. We all have to. It's all about balance. In the end, Walt sets out on one last journey, one of finality. He wants to cut all the loose ends and give the last of what he can. In a blaze of glory, he closes his journey surrounded by what he felt fulfillment in, a lab. And as the camera rises and he contemplates it all in silence, we get to think to ourselves what it all meant for us, if it was worth it, and how it makes us all feel. Through different viewings and the passage of time, we all gain different understandings and types of appreciation for the work. That's another reason I believe it to be so great. Watching this series is always an intensely personal experience for me. It has some looking inside of myself, thinking about what I want and what I would do to get it, what's worth trading off and what isn't. I also get a reminder to appreciate that I'm not only my ambition. It's one of, if not the biggest part of me, but even the biggest part isn't the whole picture. It's an incredible lesson, one that I'm always gonna remember. So, what are your thoughts on Breaking Bad? How does it make you feel? Did you take different lessons from it? I'd love to know more of your thoughts in the comments. I'd also love to go more specifically into characters from the show because it's so dense and almost everyone in it affected me in some way. Walt's just the most significant and indicative of the series, being the lead. Feel free to let me know if you'd like more of that. Also, to break away from the script a little bit, drawing real people was really weird to try, considering I usually try more animated characters. Let me know if you dislike the pictures too, or if you liked them. I'm gonna try to do a little more of it and try to get better at it. It was fun, it was just really hard. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. I'll see you next week, and till then, have a great time. Thank you.